welcome back everyone. Today I want to talk about the books that I've read this fall, which are quite a lot. Unlike this summer I haven't found the time and the desire somehow to read. I don't know, but this fall, it's not a lot, but personally it's quite a bit. So stick around to find out which book was my favorite, one of whom I don't have with me physically because I've given it to my mom to read it. Let's start with the first book, which is Alionuska by Lilia, Calancea, I think. It's a contemporary Moldovan fiction, which I bought while I was visiting Moldova. And the book traces an emotional journey of a young woman who is growing up in a complicated family in a land with some major changes. Also, she tries to navigate school, family, friendships, identity. And this book feels like a confession, I would say. It was very much like I was sitting across a good friend and she was telling me stuff that she never told before. It was very emotional, but also very, very raw and honest. This book was also the first one that I have read in my mother language in a long, long time. I think over 12 years. And it was so kind of emotional for me because sometimes I still forget that I lived in Moldova half of my life, which, I don't know, it's just sometimes a little bit crazy. But I really, really would love to recommend this to someone who speaks Romanian or is from Moldova. And if you enjoy reading, if you enjoy honest and raw emotional literature, this writer, Lilia, also is very talented in drawing you in, filling with the narrator. The end was a little bit, I didn't expect it. This is why also the book is named. The end is kind of the full circle. You kind of get why the book is named Alionuska, which gave me goosebumps because this was very, very good. I really enjoyed it, and I wish that someday this book will be maybe translated in English. I don't know, but as now it's unfortunately not. The next book I've read this fall is Burmese Days by George Orwell. It was my first book from him, and I think it was also his first published book, if I'm not wrong. I don't know. It's set in colonial Burma, and we are following a young British man who is working there. I don't really know what he was doing to be exactly, what his job was, but nevertheless, this young man is alienated by the corrupt and racist system and world around him. He kind of despises this kind of system he lives in, but he also can't get out in a way or another. Orwell shows you how corruption, power, and moral weakness really shape your entire environment and every relationship. It's a very sharp critique towards the system he was living in at the time, which I find very brave, to be honest. I think this book is very forgotten, although I think it's also very powerful as Animal Farm and 1984. I think if you enjoy George Orwell, if you already have read 1984 and Animal Farm, you should definitely read this one, because we already know how disgusting and wrong and bad colonial time was. I don't need to give you all the information that I hope you already know. But if you enjoy to have a little bit of a complex narrative, a little bit of a character-driven book, then you should definitely read this one. The next book, also from George Orwell, Animal Farm. It was a book club pick, which I picked. I think we have all heard about this book some way or another. A group of farm animals revolt against their human and take over the farm in the hope to build a better society for themselves. But as power and hierarchy is kind of shifting and some animals recognize their power the dynamic shifts completely. It's a very simple, children-like simple, but also very powerful allegory about leadership, control, and how easily ideals can be manipulated. This book starts very, very quickly. You kind of get pulled in the night of the revolution, and you are there, you're in the moment. But after a while, the book kind of slows down, and its repetition, day in, day out, manipulation kind of suffocates you. But you get a very good insights about how the animals may have felt. You are feeling frustrated because me personally, I felt frustrated because you are recognizing so much from the time this book was written. It was painful to read. The next book I've read this fall was The Sorrow of Satan from Maria Corelli. I've read it in Russian because my cousin who lives in Russia gifted it to me because it's one of her favorite books, and it quickly became one of mine too. I can read in Russian, but very, very slowly and unsure. So I would love to read it in English sometime. It was that good. It's a gothic social commentary. It's very like the question, the sky is blue. Well, you know, it's sometimes so obvious, sometimes so simple, but it's still so powerful. The story follows a struggling writer who is trying to make ends meet. He is meeting a mysterious, charming man who is offering to help him. As opportunities open for the writer, he is forced to confront questions about morality, temptation, and the cost of true success. The question that Corelli this is the ground me and my cousin came together on as we talked about this book. Well, you question yourself, will I do the same? Will I make the same decisions? We will never know. But at the end of the day, you still criticize the narrator. You still look at him with a judgy look. But will you choose differently? I don't think many of us will choose differently. I don't think many of us will be the same as the narrator. This book really just shows you that money can buy you anything, not happiness, not love, not success. I think it's a must-read for everyone. This book was written in 1895, which is crazy because as I was reading this book, I didn't have this impression that this book was that old. If you look for something to read, then please find yourself a copy of this book and come back and let me know in the comments if you loved it, because I definitely had, and then we can exchange opinions. The next book I have read was Letter to His Father by Franz Kafka. Letter to His Father, I think the title just gives it away. Kafka wrote a lengthy letter to his dad, explaining how their relationship impacted Kafka's life, his confidence, his views on himself and the world. This book was literally really like reading something you are not intended to read. It felt very intimate, but also very, very relatable, because I think some of us can unfortunately relate to how Kafka was treated by his father. I bought this book, I think, I don't know, 3 years ago or something. So I have read some opinions that Kafka was just a brat, I would say. Some said that he was over exaggerating and was ungrateful to his father and stuff like that. While I was reading this book, I had this review in my mind, and it was not pleasant to think like this, because I believe that parent-child relationship do impact your life very, very much. If you have a hard relationship with your parent, especially daughter-mother or son-father relationship, it can be a little bit difficult. It's a very intimate confession that I don't think was meant for us, unfortunately, even though it is great. It is written very interestingly. I love the long sentences. I love the way he came back to a thought and everything, but still I felt a little bit uneasy reading this because it was meant for his father and not us. The next book I've read is a book club pick, which my friend picked, This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I hope that I pronounced this correctly. It's a young adult romantasy. I wouldn't have picked it myself, to be honest. But I love that the book club that me and my friend have is kind of, we are different but very much alike. And the differences are that she would pick something like this and me not. And I love it because I am exploring something new with her, through her. This novel follows a hidden heir, Eliza, living in a world where humans and supernatural beings coexist. It's a political intrigue, forbidden romance, Persian mythology-inspired fantasy. I was excited about the Persian mythology aspect of this book, and it is very, very interesting. It's, like I said, a young adult category book, romantasy, and it shows somehow because I am biased about this type of category, unfortunately. This is why I wouldn't pick this book up for myself. Yeah, the writing style more or less is unspectacular, maybe at times, not always. But yeah, the romance, the forbidden romance, the slow burn, the enemy to lovers and stuff like that, they are all in here, and me and my friend are enjoying it. It's a four-part series. I don't know, we are now reading the second book, and I think we will read the full collection of these books. But yeah, I don't know, maybe we need to read all of the books so that I can rate them. But as for now, it isn't a book that I hate, but it's also not a book that I love. The last two books that I've read this month are Dostoevsky White Nights short stories collection, and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Starting with White Nights, I thought this book was one book, but no, there are short stories collections, and I kind of got a little bit frustrated by that because I reviewed this book as one. And I don't think that I was wrong, because even though they are not directly connected to each other, the short stories, White Nights, A Weak Heart, and Christmas Tree and Wedding, I think, are the three short stories. They explore loneliness, they explore sad, intimate observations about human interactions, human beings, which Dostoevsky very much loves. This was my first book by Dostoevsky, and I have a lot from him that I need to read. I have The Idiot and one book in Russian that I'm not thinking about reading soon because I'm very scared of reading Dostoevsky in his language. But yeah, I think this book was very popular in the last couple of years, and I see why, but I also enjoyed his writing style. I think it's a great introduction to Dostoevsky. White Nights, I kind of got irritated with the protagonist. I don't know, I would be irritated with someone like him around me. I didn't like White Nights, but I liked A Weak Heart. I liked to explore the relationship between Vasya and Arkady, which was very complicated in my opinion and very much real, because I think that we as friends often are blinded by what our friends really need and what we think they need. And yeah, I loved A Weak Heart, but not really White Nights, to be honest. I am realizing how lousy I am at rating and talking about books, but you know, hey, you clicked to this video, so enjoy it. The last book I read this fall was The Great Gatsby. I also had this book a very long time. I don't know why I bought it. Maybe because it's a classic and I thought it is great to read classics, but anyways, I was lost in this world. It's about Jay Gatsby, who builds himself a very luxurious and dreamlike life because he believed achieving this will bring him closer to be with his lost love, Daisy. He was a little bit deluded, to say the least. You are seeing the whole story unfolds through the eyes of Nick, who is a very blurry, interesting, distant character that I didn't understand. He was the ghost of the story for me. I didn't understand how he got wrapped up in this whole story, but you know, this is how easily we people get lost in others' dramas. I think this was also one of the points that I took from this book. It's just that we love the drama of other people. I really felt for Gatsby in a way. The whole story explodes into something that I don't think anyone expects opening this book. To be honest, I haven't read any reviews about this book. I don't know anything. I know that there is a film about this book, but still I didn't know how tragic this book ends, and it made me very sad. I enjoyed this book. I was irritated with some characters, for example Daisy and Tom and other emotional, distant people in this book. But yeah, it's a very cold, bitter, lonely book about a man with a far dream. But also I'm reading Anna Karenina from Leo Tolstoy. I'm not far at all, but I enjoy it. I'm really in it right now. I don't know. I still am reading very slowly, but I don't know, somehow this time, the last couple of days, I don't really enjoy reading as much. I don't know what's wrong, but this book is good and I'm going to keep you guys updated. Thank you for listening to me yap for I don't know how long. I hope you could take something with you from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below which books have you read, which books have you loved, which books are you recommending that I can buy next when I am allowed to. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you soon. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.